Well, aloha. Welcome to summer. Last night was the official kickoff of the Midtown Beach, and I hear that the beach parties down at the Crow's Nest have been going strong. I don't know, I haven't been to either. I do look forward to those this summer. But the kids were graduating and we are in full season. And so what does the summer bring? Well, it's usually buying season for homeowner or home buyers, and they start to go shopping. And the traffic is certainly showing that we're definitely in summer season around here in Santa Cruz. Anyway, what I want to talk to you about is to remember, if you are shopping, if you are in the market for shopping, to remember that you are buying what you are selling. And I say this often to the people that I'm working with, because I think it gets lost. We start romancing about what we want to buy, and we start giving up certain things because sometimes we can't have it all, and we forget that in order to get that perfect kitchen, if that's on the top of your priority list, you might be taking on something else. And maybe it doesn't bother you, but it could be something that could affect your buying pool in the future, and it could be something that could affect your overall price. So why do I say that? Because sometimes we get narrowed in on the purchase price that we're in, and we forget where we want to be. So I've got a list of things that I want you to remember, and just while you're out there, if you're browsing around or you are looking at homes, keep this list in the back of your mind, and I hope that it helps you out. So one thing I want to bring up is, actually, since I'm in the car, commute. I think that people forget that we have a big buyer pool just right there over the hill, and if they aren't even living over there now, but they work there, a lot of people factor in that commute. And if something is going to add an additional 40 minutes to their coming to or going from, that could be a major deterrent for some people. They have to figure out, we're lifestyle people, how many hours extra will this house factor into my daily commute and into my week? And so I want to start with that, just because here I am. But while I'm on the road, let's talk about that. What about buying on a very busy road? People tend to look at those homes because they're priced a little bit better, but there's a reason why. Buying on a busy road, a pass-through road, or something that's getting developed. We have a lot of stuff being built around here, and how does that affect your neighborhood? Are you going to be really condensed? Are you going to feel like you have neighbors looking down into your backyard or into your place of living? So these are things to remember when you are looking at your home. Maybe check out the upcoming developments. They're coming up everywhere. And so just remember that being in a congested area can be fine for some. In fact, I had someone who wanted to be close to all of the happenings and things like that. And I think for some of us locals, some of us want to be a little bit more on the slower level, and so they tend to look at rural. But rural is not for everyone either, and I'm not trying to knock all these out. I just want you to remember that sometimes when something is really rural, it could be beautiful, it could have the most amazing views, it could be, very secluded, but not everyone wants that. So keep that in the back of your mind. While I'm talking about the rural areas, think about the type of insurance that is affected. A lot of people right now are really thinking about insurance. It has made the difference in people being able to buy or sell in certain areas, certainly in even high fire areas, and it's even affecting HOAs. So think about that, because if our insurance, and I don't know who's going to get into office, and I don't know what the changes are, a training on some of the things that are coming up in California, I think this month, and I'll let you guys know what I learn on that. But remember that insurance is something to factor into this. Now, I know We can't all be just in the middle of Santa Cruz on a private little road, with no traffic and the perfect situation. But I do want you to be thinking about these things as you are factoring in what you're going to be buying, but more importantly, what are you going to be selling? Because are these things going to come back and affect your overall equity? While I'm talking about insurance, let's talk about HOAs. So HOAs have always been a way to enter into the market, and we're seeing less and less buyers being able to enter in. And the way that HOA fees look, it's basically putting your future maintenance into an account that allows you to go ahead and live in a community, get something affordable, lock in your shelter costs, and then not have to worry about roofs and other things down the road. But historically, we've watched those HOAs stay low. A lot of places were built in the 80s, and so those types of things are now starting to mature. Roofs, paint, many things, including the types of things like electrical and plumbing are starting to be required to get upgraded in these communities in order for them to keep their HOA. In fact, I just helped a buyer close her place on her new place last week, and this particular HOA to all update their electrical panels, and if not, then they're looking at special assessments. And so I bring up the insurance as part of the HOA because I want to remind you that HOAs can fluctuate, and sometimes those numbers can go up. Rightfully so. The cost to put on a roof is not the same as it was when they built that place, and they said that it's expected. I don't think it's unfair, but I do think that the people who benefited from keeping those costs very low, we're starting to see that tether in. So remember your HOA. If you have a reserve that is not ready for future maintenance and things that need to come up, that could be something that you're selling down the road and affect your overall price. While I'm talking about HOAs and the cost of that, be thinking about your particular home. How's the plumbing? Is the plumbing old? Is the electrical old? Because these things, going back to insurance, are now being required to be upgraded in order for you to insure your home. You can't just insure your home and be affected by the location of it. They're starting to look at broader things. And so remember that when you're going into it. Factor it in. It's okay if you need to upgrade your plumbing or your electrical. You will benefit from it. But if you can't, and it affects your insurance, and the next buyer comes around and isn't able to get insurance because of it, it could affect your overall price. And then you'll be taking care of it at the sale. Let's see. Any types of biotic areas, county restrictions. Our county, as you know, has been really tough about building, and that's because we have a lot of special uses and restrictions within our county, city, and those. But one thing that people forget about, and they get romanced on some of the openings that California has given us, is biotic areas. So just know that if you're in an area on the coast, or if you're in the heavily wooded area, maybe you're in a timber, there's many things that you need to know that could affect you down the road. So if you have a buyer who wants to be able to expand the cute little cabin that you called home forever, or they want to put on a unit for their mother or their children, or an office or a yoga studio, I've heard them all. Just remember that if there's heavily restrictions because of the geo stuff that's going on there, or the land, that could affect your overall sale price. I want to talk to you also about service when it comes to cell phone and internet and these types of things. So many people are connected now. So we don't just look at are you able to connect to sewage? What kind of gas do you have? Is it going to be propane? No, people really need to be able to work from home in a working from home era. And so make sure that you're in an area where you can get those. Now, I'm sure that you're probably already thinking about it, but if you don't, and you're not somebody who does that, be thinking down the road. If you're off the grid, that could be narrowing your buyer pool. Another thing that I want to bring up is I want to say to you that it's okay. You will come up with a house that has a few of these things, and it's all right. It's part of the territory here in Santa Cruz. Don't let any of these things discourage you from securing your home. Just be thinking about it. Lots of stairs, a steep driveway, a busy road, insurance ability. These things are things that I know that you think about when you're buying it, but are you thinking about what the future buyer is going to be thinking about pulling out of a busy road, backing up on a busy street, or scaling the side of a mountain on a private road to get to their house? It's a beautiful one, but some people can't drive them. I happen to be one of them. Anyway, I hope that you find this helpful. I hope that you're having a wonderful kickoff to summer. We're not quite there yet, but